Hello everyone, my name is Carlos Brown. I'm a resident dean on campus. I'm a resident dean specifically for Florence Moore Hall, that's East Florence Moore, West Florence Moore, and Robley Hall. I'm also the resident dean for the Abroad program in Cape Town. The reason why you're watching this video is because I'm not there with you right now, but I'm there with you in spirit. I'm away at a conference where I'm going to hopefully learn a whole lot more about myself, challenge others' beliefs about identity, race, and privilege, and get to know a lot of other people who are really doing this really good work that I'm doing as well. I look forward to having these conversations with you because in this class we hope that you will challenge yourself. Realize that the more you give, the more you'll get out of this course. But before we get to that, of course, we have to get to know each other really, really well. And the best way for me to tell you more about myself and to begin that conversation is to let you know about the 5 M's. The first M in my life is the military, because my father was in the military. Had a major impact on me growing up because we traveled a lot of different places, had a lot of really good experiences and met a lot of really good people, but it also helped to shape the way in which I established relationships and friendships. The military is the first M. The second M that I want to talk to you about today is actually Maine. When I was younger, I grew up, my early years, first and second grade, I lived in Presque Isle, Maine. That was my formative years when my language patterns established, when I got first connected to and understanding more about who I was, about race, or around identity. And that's where a lot of my initial thought patterns and beliefs about myself came. So I think Maine is another pivotal M in my history. And after Maine, I would say Mississippi is my third M. Mississippi is where I moved to right after living in Maine for 2 or 3 years. And I grew up in Mississippi, stayed there from age 7 all the way through adulthood. So as you can imagine, I had a lot of experiences in Maine that kind of bled over to Mississippi, but were incredibly different. When I think about differences, of course, the most obvious difference is race and identity. My black identity was really small part of my experience when I was in Maine. I was one of 3 other people in the entire school that I knew were black. And of course, the proportion was much different when I moved from Maine to Mississippi. Clearly, 35 or 45% of the population was African American, and clearly I was able to connect with my roots and understand more about my own heritage in that space, much more so than I would ever have received or understood in Maine. The third M has to do with Miami of Ohio. That's where I had my first professional job, and that's where I learned a whole lot about how to relate with people on a professional level. Made a lot of good connections, met a lot of good people, made a lot of mistakes, and learned a whole lot in that first professional job. And the final M, Milton. Milton is the name of my father. It's not until he passed away that I realized how much of an impact he had on me, my attitudes, my opinions, and my perspectives on life. It's odd that I find myself repeating him from time to time. So now that I've told you a little about myself, let's begin to learn more about one another. That's the first step in establishing trust and getting to a place where you can have deep, meaningful conversations and dialogues. I look forward to meeting you all and having more of those intimate, deep conversations.